offensive line. One reason is 290-pound import left tackle Lee Spivey. Tony Pearson, a sixth-round draft choice from the University of Alberta, gets a start at wide receiver for Calgary today. These are familiar names in the Stampeder backfield: Johnson, Petros, and Allen. But there will be times when you'll see a third back, and he's an import running back, Kirby Warren, for the Stampeders today. The Winnipeg offensive line has allowed the fewest sacks in the Canadian Football League. One measure of a good job done. Randy Faby for the injured Perry Tuttle is a change in the Winnipeg receiving corps. Tom Clements, Willard Reeves, Pat Cantner as usual for Winnipeg, but unusual is the fact that the Bombers, too, will have another import running back dressed. He is veteran Lester Brown. The Bombers kick it off with Trevor Kenner to Ron Hopkins, the best kick returner in the Canadian Football League, and the game is underway. The Bombers won their first 4 games of this season, and they have not won 2 in a row since. They'll try to change that. The Stampeders have won 3 straight. It's easy to forget that the first of 3 in a row, because that came before Larry Kuharich was hired as the head coach. The last game for Bob Vespasiani was the miracle comeback against the Ottawa Rough Riders. Since then, the Stampeders have beaten the Lions and the Eskimos, the 2 teams ahead of them in the West. Now they tackle the Eastern leaders, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 1st and 10, Calgary from its 33-yard line. Right off the bat, a pass to the sidelines. Rick Johnson. A little bit too high. And the day couldn't really be much better.
Oh, it is a good day for football. The clouds moved away a little bit earlier and the sun is shining.
Mike Riley can't have too many good things to say about Stan Mikolas. He'll talk at length about the job his nose tackle has done in his 30 defense, but right now he's going to have to think about replacing him for a while.
Well, there really is a lot of pressure on a nose tackle. He has to play over the center. He is responsible really for 2 gaps, and it seemed like there he hopped up. Tough to see where the injury occurs, but you're right. Mike Riley has an awful lot of good to say about Stan Mikolas, and for good reason. Not only is he important in the running game to take those 2 gaps either side of the center, but for the blitzing game. He has to occupy 2 people. Sometimes the reason that James West comes free is because Stan Mikolas does a good job.
The Blue Bombers expect Calgary to run the ball a lot today, and so it might have been somewhat surprising to Riley and his staff that Rick Johnson came out throwing on first down. Calgary, in fact, has now amassed the best rushing average per game in the league, and that really does surprise a lot of people when you consider that Willard Reeves plays for Winnipeg, and it's just an automatic assumption that the Blue Bombers run the ball better than anybody. Reeves does as an individual, but the Stampeders as a team have outrushed Winnipeg this season, and Gary Allen and Tim Petros give them the best 1-2 rushing punch in the CFL. Maybe with Kirby Warren, it'll be the best 1-2-3 punch today.
Well, Tim Petros really has matured as a running back, having the opportunity to carry the football. His big game against the BC Lions, 150 yards plus, really showed that they have a 1-2, as you said, 1-2 punch there. And with Kirby Warren, who knows what surprises they'll have.
Stan Mikolas has to miss at least 1 play, and it looks as though it'll be more than that as he has some trouble getting off the field, though he is walking, and Rob Prodanovic is into the game. He and Mark Seal usually switch places at the right defensive end. Now there is need for Prodanovic to be in there. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on the game's first offensive play. Obviously, the Blue Bombers jumped. The question is, were they drawn offside?
Offside. Winnipeg, number 78.
Rick Johnson using that count to his advantage. He's not bobbing his head when he does it, but the change of voice and snapping that count out catches Prodanovic off guard. He's going to be anxious getting an opportunity to play.
Stampeders 2nd down 5. They're at their own 38 after the penalty. Everybody flanked to the right side. There is not a receiver to Johnson's left, and he runs left and not very far. Tyrone Jones read it perfectly.
On the run, Tyrone Jones hits a gap. able to break through there and take the runner down from behind. When you can get through and you see he's reading his keys and watching the tackle go, he gets in behind the tackle, good angle, pulls down Petros from behind.
For a loss of 3, and so the Stampeders fail to move the ball and will punt. Glenn Harper averaging just over 43 yards per punt. That certainly won't hurt his average. Jeff Treflin on the return for Winnipeg. Has some room down the sidelines. Treflin out of bounds, and the Blue Bombers offense takes the field for the first time. Mikolas twisted his right knee.
Tom Clements, after a tremendous game last week, especially in the second half, now going to have a new look on the offense. Lester Brown, we're not sure how he's going to be used, and I don't think Mike Riley was sure either. Might be Willard Reeves and Lester Brown, might use Lester Brown as a slot back. A lot of options out there.
Little play action to Reeves, and they toss it off to the fullback for a short gain. Cantner, who was lined up outside, came in closer to the offensive line and then ran that short little route. They'll probably use Brown as a pass receiver as much as a runner when he gets in there.
Well, when you have a good running game, you can run play action and it can be successful. Bob Molly out in front of Tom Clements. Really the flow of the play is going the other way. Cantner sneaks through the line, gets out into the flat underneath the linebackers.
A better pass probably would have increased the yardage. Cantner was by himself and had to reach back for the ball. So it's 2nd down and 4. Clements under some fire and hits the big target. Nikaraki, it'll be a first down at the 45.
Nikaraki seeing the ball an awful lot more in the last 2 games, and again he's probably the 3rd pick for Tom Clements. He's going to roll out. Araki will go down and find an area in that zone to settle down. There he comes right across. Nice big target for Clements. He's tough to miss.
Terrific gain on first down for Willard Reeves, who has not had good rushing success either of the last 2 weeks. He gained only 13 yards in BC, only 63 yards against Saskatchewan last week. So a man averaging 100 yards per game has had only 76 the last 2 games. But that's a terrific start for him today.
It is a great start and a good job by the offensive line.
Cantner dives and can't bring it in.
Well, they're getting closer and closer to Tom Clements. That time, Vince Goldsmith right in Clements' face when he threw it. That's why the ball was a little bit past Cantner. But keeping Willard Reeves in the backfield for a draw or screen motion will slow that pass rush down. They have to respect his abilities and those plays like they just saw.
Willard Reeves went over 1,000 yards in the victory against Saskatchewan, but his per game rushing average is not much more than 100 now after he was well above that. 2nd down from Calgary's 46. Randy Faby makes his first catch of the ball game and celebrates his insertion to the starting lineup.
Faby taking Perry Tuttle's place, really a different type of receiver. Perry Tuttle's the quick, almost a wide receiver type. Mike Riley calls Faby more in the mold of Nikaraki, a big target, finds the zones in the area, is very good, runs sharp patterns, and has got good hands.
Something for Calgary's defense to think about. Clements throws to the fullback and to the 2 slot backs, not yet to either wide receiver. James Murphy, Jeff Boyd. Reeves for a yard, maybe 2.
That'll be a concern. They want him in the football game. We mentioned earlier what a great year he's having, and Ross Hodgkinson, the athletic therapist, has already put ice on the knee. It's a tough break for him. He's such a competitor. Stan Mikolas.
Second down, we expect Clements to throw, and that's what he'll do. For Willard Reeves, short of the first down, a good defensive play by Ron Hopkins at the right corner. One-on-one with Willard Reeves.
Willard Reeves has run over many a defensive back, having caught a swing pass like that in many situations this year. You're right, Hopkins does a good job of just taking that one leg and bringing him down.
Well, breaths are somewhat hushed now, and fingers are crossed for Trevor Kennedy, who has had his problems the last couple of weeks. Much has been said and written about it here in Winnipeg, and Trevor Kennard would like nothing more than to get the Blue Bombers into the lead for that reason and to take some of the weight off his back. And this one's good. The Bombers score first on a field goal by Trevor Kennard. Trevor Kennard, feeling much better about things, will kick off after his own field goal, and he kicks it right over the head of Ron Hopkins, who gets a late start from his 10-yard line. And a flag comes down as Hopkins goes down at his 23.
It's tough to return a kickoff when the ball bounces around. Sometimes it can work in your favor. Seams will open up. People coming downfield, but not in that case.
Illegal block. Calgary number 72.
That kickoff might indicate that the wind is blowing a little stronger than we thought and that Ron Hopkins thought. So the combination of the ball sailing over his head and the penalty puts Calgary in a hole at the 10-yard line. Powers to the right with Tolbert and Larry Willis this way, and again they run left, and again the Blue Bombers sniff it out. Those linebackers so active and really keying against the running play.
Well, full house backfield. Kirby Warren's in there with Allen and Petros. Allen goes in motion to the right, to the wide receiver spot, but there was no one fooled on the defense. Good pursuit from the backside. Delbert Fowler, the cleanup man.
Loss of a yard, second down, 11. Stampeders at their 9. Again, they have 3 backs in, and they bring one of them, Warren, in motion. Johnson's in his end zone, down for 2 points.
It's a good pass rush. The key to keep your quarterback inside, and then if he has to rush or run out of the pocket, he runs right into the arms of an end. This is a good job by forcing up the middle, containing to the outside. You see Fowler's up, got it to the right, and Mark Seal just flies in and takes Johnson down in the end zone. Seems like he's got some time, but pressure up the middle pushes him out.
Well, the safety only brings 2 points, but it really is a big play. In addition to that, of course, the Blue Bombers will get the football. Stampeders were going to kick it away anyway from a lot deeper than their 35-yard line, but 2 points, a chance to go down and add to a 5-0 lead, makes Mark Seal's play a very big one.
The problem, I think, there is how it will affect the Stampeders, and it might not at all, is you're down in your end, you want to start driving the football, and you get not only sacked, but sacked for 2 points. It's discouraging when you have a start on offense like that. You want to get in some sort of a role. The defense is taking it away. The defense right now is dictating.
And short of a touchdown, I guess that's the biggest play a defender can make. Score some points without actually having his hands on the ball. He grabbed the guy who does have it.
Oh, sure.
So the Bomber defense is jazzed up early in this game and has contributed to a 5-0 lead. Ken Winey and Lester Brown are back for the Blue Bombers. Brown has been added to the kick return team, providing a bit more speed than Jeff Truckland, who becomes a punt return specialist. The Bombers are short a man on the field. Delbert Fowler, who made the tackle on Kirby Warren, gets out there finally, and now J.T. Hay kicks it in Lester Brown's direction. Maybe they think he's a bit rusty. Let's see. Well, they give him the sidelines. I mean, literally give it to him, and Lester Brown just makes his way into Calgary territory.
Well, he certainly shows he's not rusty. And what's interesting about that is a lot of teams in the league are, when they kick off, they're kicking to inside the hash. What this does is it closes down the return. But Calgary gives him the sideline. You see those 4 people in a row. Somebody's not containing. If it isn't for Bertie Morrison fighting off this blocker, Lester Brown might have had the sideline.
So a good start after the 2 points for the Blue Bombers. They begin from Calgary's 54. Clements to Murphy, and he breaks 3 tackles. He's within a yard of a first down. The first catch for James Murphy, his 54th of the season.
Well, that's 3 balls Clements has thrown over the middle. Araki, Fabi, and now Murphy. Did you see Mark Seal, acquired this year? Needed some help at the defensive end spot. They wanted another person or a rusher like Mike Gray, and they've got one.
Second down and not very much yardage needed for a first down, so this situation allows the Blue Bombers to use their imagination if they wish. First down is safely made, you would think.
I always like it when a quarterback comes up in this situation and throws the football.
Well, they're certainly bunched in very tight as if they're going to do just this. Give it to Willard Reeves for the first down. Stampeders punish him while he gets it.
Well, it's no question that's your safe bet when you've got Willard Reeves and Pat Cantner leading him through. They bring in their short yardage, which are a couple of extra people on that offensive line for that surge. They're going to the right side behind Chris Walby, Bob Molly, and of course Tyrone Jones is in there too for some extra help, but they're trying to make him pay.
The 43-yard line of Calgary is the line of scrimmage, and the Blue Bombers go 1st and 10. This is the first deep one from Clements, and it's a touchdown. Pretty as a picture to Jeff Boyd, who fires the ball into the end zone to celebrate the first major score of this game. It's 43 yards, Clements to Boyd, and they both did it as well as you could do it.
Well, I watched Tom Clements in the early parts of the game. He seems like he's always trying to set something up, throw short, and then threaten and go deep because maybe you've pulled and snugged up the defense, and that's what he does. Jeff Boyd just runs Brian McCreary. Perfect pass.
Did seem to be setting that one up, didn't they? The passes over the middle to the slot backs, then a big deep one to the wide receiver. It's been a big first quarter for Winnipeg. Trevor Canada's made a field goal. The Bomber defense has scored, and now Clements to Jeff Boyd for Tom Clements' 21st touchdown pass of the season. Gives Winnipeg a lead of 12-0, and here comes Ron Hopkins the other way. Out close to the 40-yard line. Stampeders have had no success rushing the football with their 3-back offense, so we'll see what adjustments, if any, Larry Kuharek has made for this series.
Jeff Boyd does a good job of catching Tom Clements' 21st touchdown pass, but protection's the key. Nick Bastaya on a great defensive lineman, a little bit of help from his center, Lyle Bauer.
Again, the Stampeders line up with 3 backs behind Johnson and move Kirby Warren in motion. Fight for the football, and it is incomplete as they go to the rookie, Tony Pearson from the University of Alberta.
Mike Riley said to us today that the Calgary Stampeders spread their receivers out wide. And what happens when they do that is they spread the defense, and if they're playing zone, now the zones become wider. With Rick Johnson's arm, they think they can get the ball in there quickly. Good job of Bennett by moving in when the ball's thrown, breaking it up. Roy
Bennett, the leading interceptor in the CFL. 2nd down and 10 for the Stampeders. Johnson throws that ball, and there are flags down. There was no receiver there. There should have been one, and perhaps a penalty is the reason there wasn't.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 20. First down.
Well, some contact downfield. Jefferson became a little bit too physical. You can bump them off the line of scrimmage, but once they go down and start to get into their pattern, you can't knock them out of the pattern, and that's what he did to Tony Pearson.
So the Stampeders have a first down at their 53. Strong running by Gary Allen, but the Blue Bomber defense is tough to move today. They have been vulnerable to the run, and Mike Riley said it's a concern, especially against a team that has run the ball better than we have, statistically anyway.
Well, in certain defenses, you're right, they can become vulnerable. Their linebackers are great blitzers. Probably the best against the run is Darrell Patterson, number 76.
Stampeders in Winnipeg territory for the first time today. Tim Petros has to reach back to get the ball. And he has stopped short of a first down as some shoving goes on. This has really been the case right from the opening play of this game. The feelings run high on both sides.
Well, it's good to see on the behalf of the Stampeders. The Bombers always play like that, but this is that cockiness we spoke about the Stampeders have to have. Petros sees it and it almost gets the ball stripped. Does a good job of setting down, waiting, and pulling the ball back in. He's just short of that first down.
And here's some more of that gambling strategy that Larry Kuharek has been famous for in his first 2 weeks. They are going to gamble. Third down, and I'd say they need almost 3 yards. And Johnson wants much more than that and doesn't come close to getting it.
Well, Johnson had what he needed right there, a semi-roll to the left. They knocked down the outside man, so he's got plenty of time, and there's no obstruction to the view. That ball just got away from him a bit.
If you believe that football is very much a game of field position, then you'd wonder about gambling in this situation and giving the Blue Bombers excellent field position once again. He's not mad at the decision to go. He's unhappy about what happened when they did.
He's in there, big. Under.
Clements overthrows Jeff Boyd.
Some slippery turf and the ball being again released a little bit high, but I think players like that when coaches make the decision on 3rd and 1.5 to go for it. It's such a confidence builder. If they had made that, that would have done a whole lot for the offense and just the general feeling on the field.
Kuharek obviously trying to change the momentum, which has been in Winnipeg's favor right from the start. The score reflects that. 12-0 Blue Bombers. Clements on the run, fires behind the receiver, so 2 errant passes by Tom Clements. The Calgary defense does its job, but here's where the Stampeders pay for the 3rd down gamble. When they get the ball back, they're going to have to come all this way all over again.
Yeah, they'll be in tough field position. That last series, we saw Lester Brown spread out left as a wide receiver. They are trying to get one of their wideouts, Jeff Boyd or James Murphy, to come inside, create a mismatch, get him one-on-one with the linebacker.
Richie Hall on the return. And there's good special teams coverage by the Blue Bombers, keeping the Stampeders inside their 25. 12-0 for the Blue Bombers. Rick Johnson still looking to complete his first pass of the day. And that won't do it. Out of bounds was Larry Willis. Friday night, the BC Lions beat the Ottawa Rough Riders and beat them badly, 55-16. Roy DeWalt was the Canada Lease MVP, taking over temporarily, at least, from Tom Clements as the leading passer in terms of yardage. Clements needs 139 today, and he's well on his way to going past that. But Roy DeWalt, right now, the leading passer in the league. And Friday's game didn't hurt him after this game. We'll be selecting another Canada Lease MVP. Johnson throws one up, and what? That's the worst pass he's thrown, and the first one that's been caught by Gary Allen. When you saw that leave his hands, you wondered whether Winnipeg might just pick it off and run into the end zone. Instead, they got lucky.
All sorts of pressure. Scott Flagel, the free safety's coming in. Pressure from Tyrone Jones. There's Flagel making the hit, and he really does just throw it up, but what a great adjustment by Allen. Turns around, has to readjust, and makes the catch with one hand.
Rick Johnson's pass completion percentage below 50% coming into this game. 49. The Stampeders as a team, the only team in the league, completing less than half its passes. Tim Petros with the ball. He goes over midfield and close to another Calgary first down.
Petro makes a great cut here. They're trying to set up the offensive line. Now the man on the nose is going to go one way. That little move to the left sets up the nose and the center. Petros makes a nice cut and goes to the right. He really helps out his offensive linemen when they run the ball like that.
Three receivers to the left. They run it the other way with Petros for the first down.
Well, we're seeing different formations and lots of them from the Calgary Stampeders. That time, three receivers to the left side. Roy Bennett had to hustle away across the field to get into coverage, and then they run back to the short side.
Just over a minute to go in the first quarter. The Stampeders trailing 12-0. Johnson eluded 2-3 tacklers, lost the ball though, and the Blue Bombers have the game's first turnover. Tyrone Jones.
Well, Johnson's trying to sprint to the outside, and to do that, you need blocking to the outside. And actually, this is not a bad job. Tyrone Jones is taken inside. He makes a spin, beats the blocker, but he actually has the outside except for West. West comes in, makes him slow down, and then just the pressure. There's that spinorama move on Spivey. Though Spivey's got great position, he does his job, he takes him to the inside. It's just, you know, Tyrone Jones has got such tremendous hustle.
Again, great field position as the Blue Bombers start a drive, and Willard Reeves goes to the 50-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders.
You can just never let up on Tyrone Jones.
Hey, he didn't want to get up on that shit.
That minus 27 says it all for the first half of the season for the Stamps.
He's coming.
From the 50, second down 3. Willard Reeves is asked to get that, and is just a little bit short, it looks like. Oh, will the Blue Bombers decide to go on third down? Mike Riley first wants to know exactly how much, and Tom Clements isn't going to get a measurement. He stays in the game.
And he got the signal. They get the short yardage offense in there. The wide receivers will come out. Vernon Paul, who flips with Pat Kantner at fullback, trying to lead him through the hole.
3 seconds to get the play underway. They do that, and Reeves gets the first down.
That's going to be close.
The first quarter ends. I think it's a first down for the Blue Bombers. Mike Riley doesn't seem concerned. Why should he with a 12-0 lead?
Short yardage, you need that surge by the offense. Right guard Bob Mully pulls out. They go around the side. And the right side of the offensive line does a good job of closing down the defensive lineman.
Gives the Bombers a first down to start the second quarter from the 45. Screen pass, Lester Brown. He might score. Lester Brown is in. Only a big kickoff return, and now a touchdown. It's like Lester Brown has never been out of this lineup, and he's a terrific compliment for Willard Reeves in a whole lot of ways.
Well, he said yesterday he had to not get too excited before the game. Tom Clements looking to his right. He looks like he's going right. He does that. What we've seen him do many a times, throw that screen when he jumps up in the air, and this is just a great individual effort. Nikaraki, good block right there. He cuts up field. They can't take him down.
Well, just like that, it is 19-0 Winnipeg. You know, the Blue Bombers have been hearing some criticism recently. They beat Saskatchewan by 29 points, but their critics weren't all that pleased with the way they did it, especially in the first half. as we see Lester Brown's touchdown romp with a screen pass again. They lost in Vancouver, though they did come back well in that game, and then had to pull one out last week when they didn't play too well until the last 2 minutes. But the Bombers haven't done anything wrong today.
No, and they have another threat to their arsenal, though Perry Tuttle's out. Lester Brown, who can come out of the backfield or run from the inside receiver spot. And I asked Mike Rowley today, what happens if Lester Brown just comes through for you and has a great game, then Perry Tuttle is healthy next week and ready to come back? And he said, those are problems I like to have.
Lester Brown was designed to be a pass receiving threat. You just saw that. He was also designed to make Willard Reeves a better runner, which he has had trouble doing the last couple of weeks, but both have worked so far. Everything has worked for the Bombers as Kennard kicks off to Hopkins. Treflin missed him, and Hopkins stays on his feet past the 40-yard line. So the Stampeders are rapidly falling behind in this game. 19 points. It's still early. We will never say that a game is over this early when you can't say it's over midway through the fourth quarter these days. But the Blue Bombers threaten to run away with it. From Calgary's 41, Johnson threw a dangerous pass in Tolbert's direction. He has a strong arm. The offense is designed for Rick Johnson's ability to make that play, but Ken Haley almost got to it first.
Well, that's a long out to throw, and they're still getting good pressure on Johnson. Stan Mikwas has not been able to return, so Rob Pradanovic is still at the nose and doing a good job. But that's a long way to throw the football and hoping it doesn't get picked off.
We'll have a look at Rob Pradanovic on this play, come back and show you how he contributes to Winnipeg's defensive cause. At 19-0, you wouldn't think they'd hurry an injured player back in there. Stan Mikwas is going to get to rest quite a while. James West is offside, and I think they might flag him for hitting Johnson as well. This could be a damaging penalty to Winnipeg.
Well, that's a good way to start a fight right there. Knock the quarterback down when he's not ready. I'm surprised Calgary didn't rally around.
Offside. Winnipeg. Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg.
Oh, I think it's a good call. There was no need. He was offside. He was coming through, and he accepted that fact, and then he tries to hook Johnson around the neck. I mean, that's enough to start a riot.
It's enough to call what was called. There's no doubt about that. James West simply left at the wrong time, tried to get a jump on the call, didn't make it, and when he was in the backfield, he figured he better do something except look silly, and he looked sillier after he did that. So the Stampeders get a break. Johnson will try to capitalize, but this is picked off. Roy Bennett's 8. It's as good as a punt, as they say, but Bennett will take it to add to his stats and give the ball back to the Bombers at their 5-yard line.
Almost seemed like Bennett was running the pattern. Rick Johnson's got to get that offense going.
That's a big guy.
The Blue Bombers are still sitting on a shutout, and they had the ball at their 5-yard line. Rick Johnson's first interception today, and he threw it right into the hands of Roy Bennett, the league leader.
Almost seemed like it was a miscommunication downfield. He was throwing to a spot.
Clemens rolling and throwing. And hitting fullback Pat Kantner close to a first down at the 15.
Rob Pradanovic at the nose tackle is responsible for pressure. So we look at the man who intercepted the football. He'll be double teamed, but he takes a side on Smith. Smith gets good position, and then that spin move by Pradanovic gets him through.
Second and a yard for Winnipeg from the 15. Clemens himself easily for the first down.
Mike Riley figured he'd see a different football team than the last time when the Stampeders came in here, and the Bombers really did control them then. And I do believe this game is a long way from being finished for the Stampeders, because they're still showing a great deal of aggressiveness. They're just going to have to settle down on offense. think Rick Johnson's going to have to talk to his coaches on the sidelines, pick some things out and go back to some of the basics. Maybe keep the ball a little bit shorter.
Bombers first down at their 17. Draw play. Willard Reeves held up initially, but there's the surge by Willard Reeves. Half the Calgary team's on his back. Finally gets him down. And Reeves is near another first down.
The Stampeders are so anxious to get upfield and to put pressure on the quarterback that you have to give something up. And this is a very slow maturing draw, but a good block by the center. And Chris Walby comes over and gets in the middle in front of Bernie Morrison, who's the middle linebacker. Then the middle's wide open and Willard Reeves has a place to cut. And then about 15 tacklers later, he was on the ground.
They will measure for a first down. Willard Reeves has to feel a lot better about his performance in this ball game, and the Bombers have a first down on the strength of Reeves' second effort. Winnipeg has touchdowns by Jeff Boyd and Lester Brown on Tom Clements' passes. Bombers have also scored on a Trevor Kennard field goal and a safety credited to Mark Seal. Clements rolling with a blocker in front of him and allows him to pick out a receiver just like that. A late hit on Murphy as he was on the ground, not called, as James Murphy pops right back up and gets to the huddle. The Blue Bombers really looking like the team we knew they were, but some people were having doubts, I guess, the last couple of weeks.
Well, Tom Clements is continuing to move the pocket around. It's tough to blitz and get pressure on a quarterback when he rolls out on you. Hallman never really gets off the line of scrimmage. Good job by David Black, and then wants to get downfield and mix it up.
That's the hit I was talking about. Late and quite unnecessary. There they go again, jumping on James Murphy after the fact, and he's starting to get a little annoyed. There were two tacklers there after he was on the ground that needn't have piled on, but again, no flag.
Well, Calgary wants to remain aggressive as Tom Clements, the master of being able to pick up defenses and pick them apart, changing up what he's doing, a drop back, a roll out, really putting the defense of the Stampeders off guard.
Clements now back in front of Roy DeWalt in the yardage department, and he has led all season long in terms of touchdown passes. He now has 22. Next week, of course, Tom Clements and Roy DeWalt will hook up again, head-to-head. Bombers against the Lions. And now another one of those offsides hit the quarterback treatment, and let's see if they call it on Gene Beliveau like they did on James West. I think that was an honest attempt to make the play, however.
Offside, Calgary number 84.
Winnipeg fans, of course, say, why no roughing penalty? But I think there was a difference.
Well, it wasn't quite as aggressive as what West did to Johnson, but he thinks Beliveau thinks something happened and moved, and this he just takes him to the ground easily.
Penalty moves the Winnipeg Blue Bombers into Calgary territory. It seems as though they've been there throughout this game. Of course, this drive started way back at the 5-yard line after Roy Bennett's interception, but otherwise the Bombers have had great field position. Turnovers have helped. So is Calgary's 3rd and 3 gamble that didn't work.
Offside.
Second down, and this is Willard Reeves to the 50-yard line. Another Winnipeg first down is made that way. And Larry Kuharek must be starting to wonder how long the Stampeders can go like this, because another Winnipeg score is going to make it 20 or more points.
Well, this can be very scary for defensive coaches when a back like Willard Reeves in a short yardage situation, when everyone's snugged up to the line of scrimmage, can pop through like that and get into the secondary quickly.
Bombers are running, they're passing, they're playing defense. Clements with all sorts of time to find Kantner in the flat. It's not a big gain, but it's better than a sack. And it is another completion for Clements.
Clements looking downfield, really getting an opportunity to look at the defense because of the tremendous protection. He hangs in that pocket. Once his feet are planted, he's not going anywhere. He's just looking downfield, then has to release the ball to Kantner when he feels the pressure coming in.
All 4 4 receivers have made catches today for the Bombers. Pat Cantner has been on the receiving end a few times. Lester Brown has a touchdown on the screen pass. Jeff Boyd with the catch. At the 40, he is close to a first down.
Boyd running kind of a lazy pattern down and then coming underneath slowly, letting the defense really go back, step back in their zone. He comes underneath. With his ability, a very short pass like this can be turned into a big one if there isn't some good tackling by the defense. And then the defense is continuing to swarm around the ball.
Boyd took a little shot at the helmet from Bruce Green as he went by. They will measure, and they will be a little short.
Clements will call for that short yardage team once again.
Well, the Stampeders need a big play. They would like to get it from their defense here, but the Bombers figure to get this unless something goes askew. Clements perhaps himself or Willard Reed. Safest way to a first down is not hand the ball to anybody after it's snapped to the quarterback. Clements gets the first down. The Bombers continue to march with a big lead towards another score, and there won't be a whole lot of time left in the first half for the Stampeders to alter this trend.
The Bomber offense really has dominated. They've almost moved the ball at will from every position on the field. Great coordination and communication between Clements and his receivers, and that offensive line of David Black, Nick Bastille, Lyle Bauer, Bob Molly, and Chris Walby have done an excellent job of giving him time to throw the football.
Reeves again, the middle linebacker. Bernie Morrison is right where he should be on a draw play to Willard Reeves, and Morrison gets the tackle.
Get some help from Richie Hall, but Bernie Morrison has been the busiest tackler for the Stampeders this year coming into this game. He led the defense with 57 tackles.
Under 7 minutes left in the second quarter. 19-0 for the Blue Bombers. Clements stops and turns and throws, and it's a battle for the football that nobody wins. I guess you would say the Stampeders do. If you aren't happy with that, it could have been another Winnipeg touchdown. James Murphy, the leading receiver of the Blue Bomber team.
We've seen this so many times. Murphy or Boyd going down to the outside of the defensive back. The ball's underthrown, and then they just make that cut underneath. Usually they come up with it. A good job on Hopkins to battling Murphy for the football.
Although Murphy had position and had a better shot at it than Hopkins did.
Well, that first field goal by Trevor Kenner today has to bring him some confidence back to him after hitting the ball well the last few games, but just not being able to split the uprights.
He made one from 29 yards out. This is considerably longer, 46 yards away. Wind holds the ball up a bit, but Kenner had it right between the uprights. And it's a bigger lead now for Winnipeg, 22 points. The Bombers went from their 5-yard line to get that field goal. The first time they've really had to march the ball. Stan Mikowatz has been ruled out of the rest of this game, and it's no wonder because of the injury and because of the lead. That is David McCrary on the Calgary bench, and he's having a little trouble following the finger. Well, what do the Stampeders have to do to get this offense rolling? Nothing has worked.
I think they have to be a little bit more conservative. In their game plan, I'm sure, was to go deep, but I think you have to worry about getting some first downs, putting the first downs together. You mentioned that Winnipeg had such a great drive, 13 plays in their drive. You got to start to control the football, and if you have to keep it a little bit shorter to do that when you throw it, that's what you've got to do.
The big plays in this game might have been those early rushing attempts by the Stampeders that went nowhere because of Jones and Fowler and the rest of those Bomber linebackers. Calgary hasn't tried to run and probably won't now. Certainly not with a 22-point deficit, and as you see, the Bombers are able to defend the pass too.
Well, I think a lot of credit has to go to the Bombers. The way they're playing defense, they're obviously making it awfully tough for Rick Johnson to read downfield, pick out a receiver. They're snugging up and not letting the receivers either off the ball, and when they do get downfield, they're sticking to him like glue. And then Johnson has to throw short to his running back.
Short gain on first down leaves Calgary 2nd and 7. Johnson under a rush. Got away from it nicely, threw a nice pass. Gary Allen slides out of bounds with a first down in Winnipeg territory at the 51.
Johnson did feather that pass very well. He's running to his left. It's tough to throw the ball like that. Mark Seals giving chase. No one picks him up. It's flushed out. Under control here. That's a nice job. Drop it over West. Now West is coming behind him. Tries to put the brakes on.
To the sidelines, Johnson overthrows the intended receiver. Tony Pearson not nearly tall enough to get that one.
Well, when the ball keeps coming to the outside like that, one of those corners, either Roy Bennett or James Jefferson, is going to have an opportunity to really put a shot on a receiver's ribs. So Johnson's going to start keeping that ball down a bit. Maybe he's not falling through the ball. Maybe it's coming off a little bit early out of his hands.
From the Winnipeg 51, 2nd and 10 Calgary. Bombers show a blitz. Here they come with the safety, Scott Flegel among others. Johnson threw the ball, and it is caught on the sidelines nicely by Larry Willis.
The Bombers pressure. Their defense is all about pressure, and as you said, Flegel's coming from the far side. One-on-one situation, good route, push the man off and come back, but that ball has to be thrown a long way, stays in the air, and I'm sure Roy Bennett was trying to make a decision. Do I go for the interception or make the tackle?
Winnipeg 32, Johnson pumps once and threw the ball on the ground, incomplete. Stampeders trying to change things. As yet, though, they haven't scored. While we were away, here's what happened. Rick Johnson firing the ball up and into the arms of Roy Bennett. His 9th interception of the season, his 2nd of this day. The Bombers have the ball back, and they still have the shutout going. At halftime, the Calgary Stampeders give new meaning to the theory games are won in the trenches.
I have only one demand. As soon as I can get this son of a gun out, I'll make those demands.
Following the Roy Bennett interception, it is Winnipeg first down at the Blue Bomber 22-yard line. Clements to Nikaraki, and Nikaraki to the 35, reaching for the 36.
Araki becoming a very big part of this offense. A good read here by Nikaraki coming off the line. That's that communication. When the longer he's there, the more he will get to know Tom Clements and how he likes things done. He's a great receiver. He's had some great years in Montreal, and he will do nothing but help this offense as the year goes on.
Reeves right at the line of scrimmage. Blue Bombers have 22 points, and the Stampeders none.
It's one thing to make a great catch. It's another thing to hang on to it, and Tom Clements lays the ball in the area. But this is an outstanding job of coming down, having to put the ball away. Clements throwing back against the grain, actually almost getting hit before the ball got there.
You might think this hurts, and indeed it does. Nikaraki wanted to go back to the huddle, but thought better of it.
Well, those arms go up in the air, and you know you're going to get hit. There's absolutely no question about it. You just kind of hope they don't hit you in the ribs.
Well, and every time this man goes down, you do take a second look and hope that there's nothing seriously wrong. Of course, he missed all of last season with an injury that really did threaten to end his career, or worse.
Yes, it's one thing to come back from a serious injury and know you're physically fine, but it's the mental part of recovering, be it a knee or the injury he had to his neck. The bounce back and knowing you can take that hit is the most important thing.
Iraqi a big favorite when football was played in Montreal and here in Winnipeg now. Calgary Stampeders Friday night go against the Ottawa Rough Riders. And everybody will talk about the last time they met. Really the most damaging loss of many for Ottawa this season. Clements rolls right into a sack by Harold Hallman, who has been handled pretty well by the Winnipeg blockers until now.
Well, Calgary hasn't backed off at all, and this is a sack that comes from the pressure as we look at Nick Iraqi, obviously ready to get back in the football game. The sack comes from the outside, but it's because of pressure up the middle that pushes Clements out. Just runs right into Hallman.
That's certainly the biggest defensive play the Stampeders have made in quite a while. Sets the Bombers back on their heels. As far back as you can be with a 22-point lead. They now need 22 yards for a first down. And Clements tosses it. They will say either he was in the grasp or he threw an incomplete pass. I think they're going to say the whistle blew the play dead before Clements released the ball.
Well, I think that ball was knocked out of his hands by somebody's knee as he's going down. I don't think he tried to flip it. I think he was trying to put it away. Again, good pressure when they give him that center, and right there he's pulling it down. I think Lamont Jeffers hits the ball out of his hand. That's close to being a fumble.
Bob Cameron in to punt for the second time today. Stampeders came close to it, but Cameron got a great kick away. Gary Allen hit by the first man down, James West.
Good punt by Cameron. He keeps the ball in the air a long time and allows his team, the cover team, to get down. And of course, James West, always visible not only on defense but special teams. He's one of the best in the league at covering.
Roughly a minute and a half left in the first half, and the Calgary Stampeders badly need something to go their way. They'd like to get some points on the board, even if it's only a single. Johnson a handoff to Kirby Warren. It's out to the 39. 34 rather.
Again, Calgary's changing their formations. All three receivers are to the left side of the field. Kind of a quick hitter to Warren. Good pressure from defensive secondary as far as closing in by Benny Thompson on the tackle.
Johnson's second down pass finds Jay Christensen at the sidelines for a Calgary first down. A minute 23 to go. Christensen from the Okanagan Sun of the British Columbia Junior Football League.
And Cahera compares him to Ray Alexander, a big receiver, 6 feet, 190. Doesn't look that quick, but a very loping, great hands, has tremendous range when he goes down the field.
But so much for his catch.
Offside. Calgary number 80. Second down repeated.
Calgary doesn't have a number 80, so.
Well, I think should complain about that offside then.
Nothing goes right for Rick Johnson. 2 passes picked off. Rick Warman is the backup. No thought yet of inserting him into the lineup.
Well, Rick Johnson can be a streaky quarterback, but if he gets on his game, he's as good as there is.
Johnson puts his head down, knew the sack was coming. Those Winnipeg linebackers, if they're chasing the quarterback around, they oftentimes get him, and Darrell Patterson was there that time.
Well, that's Patterson's 5th sack of the year. Fowler's coming from the outside, so there's no place to run because Fowler does his job and contains. Now he has to release upfield to sprint out of the way. Darrell Patterson closes and gets himself a sack. Team defense. Everyone does their job. The sacks will come like that.
Jeffer will punt, and with still more than a minute to go, the Bombers are going to get the ball back, and again, they should have it in good shape. Preflin hit down on a good play by Lamont Jeffers at the 51-yard line. The Bombers can now think about adding to their lead. Well, really, I don't think we've seen a team all season have this kind of field position for an entire first half. The only time Winnipeg's field position wasn't good was when they made an interception.
That's right, and the offense has controlled the ball, given the defense that opportunity to sit down on the bench, get the rest, so when they get back on the field, there's absolutely no question. No one's tired. They just get after one another.
Clements rolls. Throws, and Murphy catches to the 42-yard line.
James Murphy finding a soft spot in the defense with Clements rolling out. It's tough on a defensive secondary when the receiver goes downfield and comes back behind them. They don't know where he's coming into that soft spot. The only people that can see him are Clements.
Tom Clements is taken down for a loss. Trevor Kennard in case he is needed. With 46 seconds remaining, Stu Laird brought Clements down.
Winnipeg has time to huddle up this time, but has to pull it down because of the pressure. And Stu Laird from the outside, who usually plays tackle, but the last few games has been put out at that end, gets a sack.
Clements screen pass. Lester Brown scored on this play earlier. He gets a first down instead of a touchdown. Let's be sure, yes, I think it is a first down.
It almost looked like that same screenplay to the left was going to produce another touchdown for Lester Brown. Well set up again. Tom Clements gets a deep drop. Really, the running back has to be an actor there. Pretend like he's going to block and then slide out.
Well, he also must be a good receiver. It wasn't the perfect pass. Brown had to make like an acrobat just to catch it, and then had the athletic ability to turn and get underway with a run.
Well, he lets the offensive lineman get out in front of him, and a real good block there thrown by Bastille on Hall allowed Brown to get inside and then back out.
Ron Hopkins on the right corner, a real bright spot for Calgary through the bad times and lately the good times for the Stampeders because of his work in the secondary and because of the way he returns kicks. But there are significant injuries and other injuries, and a significant one is, I would think, to a quarterback or to a cornerback. And usually when a cornerback goes down, the quarterback is the first one to notice.
Well, the cornerbacks are often your best athletes because of what they have to do out there. They're put into a man-covered situation, usually great speed, and get picked on the most too.
Stampeders swing safety Larry Hogue to play where Hopkins was, and they put Darcy Kopp in for Hogue. And just as I say Darcy Kopp's name, there he is with the interception. Taken down from behind by the faster James Murphy, but the Stampeders prevent any further scoring with a Darcy Kopp interception. At halftime, though, nothing works for Calgary. The Stampeders trail by 22. Start out again and hope that the second half is better than the first. It can't be much worse.
Well, we said Rick Johnson can be very streaky. He can come back in the second half and really tear up a defense. And then there's Mr. Consistent, the Pat Boone of the CFL. Rarely shows emotion, though. In the last few weeks, he's thrown some touchdown passes, and he's increased his vertical jump by about 4 or 5 inches, getting off the ground with excitement. So will we see Rick Warman if Johnson doesn't get things going in the early part of the third quarter?
Well, I think Johnson gets a chance to start, but the Stampeders can't wait too long. If they intend to make a switch, it wouldn't make much difference if they wait later. There's a bit of a bounce in Calgary's favor. Ken Winey has to go back and pick it up, and he's got great speed if he wants to try to get outside. He didn't have quite enough to elude all of those tacklers, and so the Bombers start in a bit of a hole, certainly compared to where they've started in the first half. 58-yard kickoff with the help of that bounce, and only an 8-yard return by Winey. Good percentage, lots of yardage, touchdown passes as usual for Clements, and the interception wasn't too damaging.
And putting the drives and the first downs together, not necessarily scoring quick and flashy, but they're just wearing the defense down.
Reeves on first down, cuts back, and the Stampeder defense doesn't give him very much. He gets past the 25-yard line, but not much further.
Lamont Jeffers, they're trying to force Willard Reeves back inside against the flow. He thinks he can come back. Good job by Hall and Jeffers to close down that cutback lane.
This is where Willard Reeves becomes so valuable. When they've got a lead, they obviously like to run for several reasons. It's safer, it moves the clock, and this is what Willard Reeves hasn't had the chance to do the last couple of weeks, because Winnipeg hasn't played with a lead. All sorts of contact back there. They are going to throw a flag. Murphy, the intended receiver. The Stampeders put up a mild argument, but somebody had to be doing something wrong.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 3. First down.
This is not an easy task for anyone. McCrary's trying to run with Murphy, and there's absolutely nothing fancy about that, a foot race, but he feels Murphy turn back, and then he turns back and gets his arm caught up. Murphy tries to catch the football and goes down.
With the help of that call, the Bombers go first down, and they give the ball to Reeves. Into about the 38-yard line for Willard Reeves.
It's amazing how he can hit up into a pile like that, not looking like there's a whole lot of room to run anywhere, and still come away with 5.5 and 6 yards. It's a credit to both Reeves but that offensive line.
It's clear that the Bombers dressed their extra running back, so to speak, Lester Brown, to be a pass catcher. The Stampeders have used Kirby Warren as a runner. Winnipeg's experiment has worked a lot better than Calgary's. Clements to Murphy for another first down.
Trying to get some pressure on Clements. 2 weeks ago, Mike Raleigh said he wanted to start to move the pocket around a bit and get Clements to sprint out. Murphy's down, he pushes off, gets good separation away from Hopkins. Hopkins closes in, stays with him nicely, but because Clements is rolling, Murphy's coming back. Hopkins really doesn't have a chance to do anything but make the tackle.
Bombers threatening to score again. Almost got rid of it fast. Boyd now looks to put moves on 3 defenders. Got close to another first down.
Again, Clements is going outside. Pat Cantner, the fullback, goes in motion. You'll see him come down. Well, not the opportunity, but it's wide open to throw into the flat to Boyd. Gets a little fancy, comes back inside, but Calgary is still trying to surround the football and being aggressive, but it's, you just wonder how long can they hold out Winnipeg.
Harry Tuttle was the receiver when it counted most against the Saskatchewan Roughriders last week. Got a bad ankle and a sore knee in the process and is out today. And of course, before he was the hero last week, he was dropping passes too often. That's something else Winnipeg has improved upon this week. The balls that are thrown and are catchable are being caught. So second down and very short yardage. 3 backs in, and Clements is going to throw it. For the first down, a better pass might have scored a touchdown, with Pat Cantner having to wait for that pass. Agonizingly, it floated toward him, and he showed good discipline in maintaining his composure and making the catch, which was uppermost in his mind in that second down 1 yard situation.
He does do a good job of adjusting to the football, coming back and reaching down with his hands.
So it's first and goal. Winnipeg Blue Bombers as they try to build on an already large lead. Boyd with one hand juggles, and he can't get it, and neither can the Calgary defenders. So it'll be second down.
Things are tight in the end zone. When Clemens takes a snap, he immediately looks left, then swings around right. He knows Boyd's coming across the middle and tries to fire that ball in there. A little bit behind, almost a circus-like catch, but it is cluttered, and the boys are banging a little bit.
Out of the backfield, so Clements rolls behind him, throws the ball incomplete. Murphy, the intended receiver that time, and Trevor Kennard will come on for a field goal attempt.
Defense putting some pressure on Clements down in close. They get up in his face quickly, and again he has to throw the ball a little bit earlier than he wants to behind the receiver. Once again, the defense comes up big, but how many times can you ask your defense to hold on a powerful offense like Winnipeg?
Trevor Kennard's having a good day. Just as soon not have this opportunity with the Bombers starting from the 5-yard line, but they'll take 3 if they can get them, and it is blocked. Ball goes out of bounds. The Stampeders hold the score at 22-0. Eric Kuharek should manage a bit of a smile after that. The Stampeders have to start somewhere if they're to mount a comeback. The blocked field goal does help. It was Ron Hopkins who got it. Calgary deep in its own zone, though, with the ball going out of bounds at the 5. They get 4 yards on first down with Kirby Warren running the ball.
The offensive line opens up a quick hole for Warren, but Daryl Patterson's able to step up from his linebacking spot, fill the hole after about 3 yards.
Rick Johnson perhaps wary of going back to pass this close to his goal line. He was sacked for a safety earlier. They'll keep it on the ground with Kirby Warren, and they won't get the first down. Larry Kuharek likes to gamble, but I don't think that's in his mind now as he brings punter Glenn Harper and the rest of the third down punting team on for the Stampeders. Bombers once again will have the ball in good field position.
Well, this is when Kuharek's looking to Harper to match what he was doing last week against Edmonton. Every time he kicked the ball, the average is 49 yards, and he could use one of those right now.
Low snap for Harper in his end zone. Punt takes a bounce in Winnipeg's favor, and the Blue Bombers are in great shape once again. The blocked field goal doesn't hurt them at all as they get another chance to go down there and score some points. Most records can be broken, and indeed are, but here's one that never will be broken in the CFL unless they lengthen the field from its current 110 yards. Kenny Plain to Ken Nielsen, 109 yards from the 1-yard line all the way to the end zone, and Ken Nielsen is one of the newest members of the Winnipeg Hall of Fame, along with Herb Peschel, Norm Rawhouse, and Roger Savoy, and we're glad that Ken has joined us for a minute here in the booth. Ken, I think the importance of the CFL's future is very much linked to the greatness of its past, and you're with some great names in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's like being invited to join a great fraternity. I saw all those old guys, the guys that I knew when I was a kid and admired, and guys that I played with. It's just really great to be a part of it.
Stay with us for a few moments as we watch this Winnipeg drive. The Blue Bombers leading 22-0, trying for more. Murphy is there, but he just can't get to the football. He had the defender beaten. What do you remember about that 109-yard play, apart from the fact you might have been out of breath at the end?
Well, I was pretty high after that, and the whole game after that. We won the game. That put us in the Grey Cup, and I can remember coming home on the trip home afterwards, and I've never seen a group of guys so happy.
You are Dr. Ken Nielsen, of course. Let the people know exactly what keeps you busy these days.
I'm a dentist.
An admirable profession. Second down now, Bombers from the Calgary 34. Another open receiver, and this one is caught. A great catch by Nicaragua, who's having a fine game.
Ken, I have to ask you that one of the best things about professional sports is when you get back together with the old guys, sit down and reminisce, and this is a great opportunity for you.
Oh, yeah, sure. You forget about it. It's been a long time, but the way they treat you and everything, you almost feel like you're a big star again, you know?
Today you are. Dr. Ken Nielsen, one of 39 players in the Winnipeg Football Hall of Fame. Thanks for joining us, and
thank you, guys.
good seeing and hearing your comments. As the Bombers try to score once again, it won't take a 109-yard play to get in this time. Willard Reeves isn't going to make it, however, from 2 yards out. The Calgary defense suddenly stiffening near its goal line.
Bernie Morrison sliding along, as a good middle linebacker will do, staying parallel to the line, and gets a real clean shot at Willard Reeves. And this isn't easy. He goes inside out. He's met and drilled.
Well, they tried Reeves on first down. They'll give this ball to Willard Reeves, and he gets in this time. First touchdown on the ground today for the Blue Bombers as they build their lead. Calgary's just not in this game, Neil. That's about as simple as I can put it.
Well, I said earlier that it's tough to put pressure on your defense all the time, and this is what's happened. A good block by Molly. He pulls out and blocks. Pat Cantner leads him in. Willard Reeves just has to stay on Cantner's hip, fall him into the end zone.
Some wondered about the possibility of the Blue Bombers looking past this game to next week, which is a game they really want to win against the BC Lions, but this just looks like a very good tune-up for that game. The Blue Bombers leaders in the East and leaders today over Calgary. If there's any bad news for Winnipeg, it is that Stan Mikowas is out for the rest of the game and a while longer with partially torn knee ligaments. Trevor Kennard kicking off, and Andy McVeigh is returning for the Stamps. McVeigh stumbling and falling just before the 35-yard line. It's still Rick Johnson, although the possibility of Rick Warman does loom.
Good hustle on the kickoff team. Vernon Paul, one of the leaders on the special teams for the Bombers, comes down. Doesn't look like he's in control, but I bet he is. He knows where he's going. He's got to take a couple people out of there. Didn't make the tackle, but forced the man to go outside and come into someone else's arms. He loves the special teams. Those linebacker types are crazy anyways.
And it looks as though they're going to kick off again because of a penalty that escaped my attention, but back the ball goes in the arms of Jake Ireland.
He showed us good form there, tucking the ball away.
Offside. Winnipeg number 24.
Mike Riley has to have something to complain about, and that's it, an offside on a kickoff. That really should never happen, but sometimes does.
Well, I would say, as you said, things are pretty much in control for his football team. Not too many things haven't gone his way today. That might be the first.
7:18 left in the third quarter. Calgary trailing by 29. Trying to remember how it was done in Ottawa when they staged the greatest comeback in CFL history to win a game. It's going to need that again, and Ron Hopkins taken down. The ground caused the ball to come loose, so it is not a fumble, quite clearly. Winnipeg fans want to think otherwise.
Boy, James West, even on defense and special teams, he's flying 100 miles an hour all the time. And you see him at the top of the screen. He comes down. He doesn't even slow down. He just flies through there and makes a great play, refuses to be blocked.
Thus the nickname James Wild West. First down, Calgary 34-yard line. 29-yard line, rather. Johnson faked the draw, found a receiver, Tolbert, wide open.
little
hasn't
fake.
completed many, but when he does, he usually gets some yardage out of it.
Well, this little fake to the running back may have held the linebackers. Just make him stand still for a second. You see Tyrone Jones stop just for that 1 second. Now, he doesn't get back far enough because of that. Inside of Ken Haley, had to bobble the ball, but made the catch.
Stampeders at their 53. Two in a row for Rick Johnson to Emmanuel Tolbert. Where's he been all day?
Well, they've done a good job on all the receivers for the Stampeders, but now the protection is allowing Johnson to sit back and see what's going on. You see Petro sneak up. He's making a block. They're securing the inside. Now that'll give the receivers downfield some time to do some things, make the cuts, and get open.
Two first downs in a row. Stampeders at the Bomber 41. Pass is caught. 1 foot is what's necessary, and Larry Willis might have had both down before he went out of bounds. The Winnipeg defenders beg to differ, and Johnson is down.
Rick Johnson's been delivering the ball in the last 3 passes with a little bit more authority, as we see athletic therapist Pat Clayton taking a closer look at the problem Rick Johnson's having.
Well, this isn't the way they wanted to get the other Rick Warman into the game, but he'll have to come in now as Johnson is hurt. One great day for Clements and a bad day for Johnson.
Yes, he struggled earlier on, but it's not easy to stand back and try to set up when you're getting all sorts of pressures and different looks. When the defense can tee off on you, it makes it tough to run the offense. This last drive is really the first opportunity we've seen him get protection consistently and get the receivers downfield and find the openings.
Rick Warman is in. Rick Johnson looks as though he could come back, but perhaps that will depend upon Warman's success or lack of it. Rick Warman keeps it on the ground on first down to Kirby Warren. Stampeders could break the shutout here. The way Kuharek likes to gamble, I'm not sure they'd kick a field goal down 29 points, but maybe just to get something. Warman is throwing it up. Incomplete, as both men are out of bounds once the ball comes down. So now, what does Coach Q want to do?
Take the points when you get an opportunity. It may not seem important right now, but we've seen comebacks where 3 points have been very important.
Glenn Harper will hold for J.T. Hay. .32-yard attempt is not good. It is that kind of day for Calgary. Playing games back there is Scott Flagel, but it finally is chalked up with the scoreboard as Calgary's first point. Calgary wants another win over Ottawa and would dearly love another comeback like that right here today, but you wonder if that's possible the way the Bombers have dominated so far.
Well, they're going to have to hope that the Bombers become a little bit complacent and they start to get some breaks.
Doesn't look like it as Clements hits Nick Araki near the 50-yard line. That's been a good play for the Bombers. He can hardly throw a bad pass to somebody that big in that sort of a route.
Interesting action by Clements, completely reversing around. Obviously knew coming off the ball, Araki had no one right in his face. Araki just bends in a little bit to give Clements a better angle to throw the ball.
Little draw to Willard Reeves. Still is not running for the kind of yardage that he was getting several weeks ago, but Willard Reeves has been a factor in this game and has scored a touchdown.
James West, a factor on defense, actually, whenever he's on the field. he might be one of the few players that asks to go on special teams.
Winnipeg from its 54. Clements to the sidelines, and that looks easy to James Murphy.
Well, there's really nothing too fancy about that. That's just a sprint to the right side. Murphy's got a good cushion on McCrary. He's going to make that break, and the ball's in the air just as Murphy's going out. Clements has an opportunity because a good job of blocking by his backs and this right tackle. Chris Walby makes an easy throw.
Here's a deep one. Out of bounds as Murphy ran against David McCrary. James Murphy entered this week as the leading receiver in the CFL with 53 catches. Mark Lewis went past him on Friday night, but Lewis has regained that lead with 5 today. He now has 58, 2 ahead of Lewis.
A little bit more respect for James Murphy. McCrary's well deep. He's not going to get behind me again, even if I have to stand off the ball 20 yards.
I don't want to see anybody standing around. As the whistle hasn't blown, you keep going after people. That's the name of the game, okay? So we run that pop down, backs. Make sure.
So the message is don't let the scoreboard affect how you play. Clements, Boyd came underneath. There was all sorts of activity that freed up the area. They just flooded the zone and sprung Boyd open.
Well, the other receivers are going to go straight downfield trying to take the defensive backs. You see, he's really loafing off the ball. He makes his cut as soon as the defensive backs and his receivers go past him downfield. Then there's that nice cushion there to have the ball thrown to him.
First down, Bombers at the Calgary 25. Draw play, Reeves picking his way and finding room as the flag comes down.
There is a penalty marker on the play.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 73.
Randy Faby called on the illegal procedure penalty. Bombers will back up 5 yards and go again.
Winnipeg called for illegal procedure. Winnipeg first and 15 from the Calgary 30.
Minute and a half left in the third quarter. The Bombers' domination has been total. Clemens throws it up and hopes somebody can get under it. Murphy gave up on the ball, and the 2 Calgary defenders couldn't get to it.
Lots of pressure coming from the Stampeder defense. They've got to make Clemens throw the ball sooner than he wants to, and that's exactly what happens with Jeffers, Bernie Morrison.
Calgary really did hope and expect to run for more than that kind of total, 32 yards in almost 3 quarters, and I think the Bombers were prepared to give them more yardage than that along the ground. But when Calgary fell behind, the run kind of went out of the game, and the Stampeders really haven't made it much of a factor at all.
Now they've got to use those running backs to their advantage out of the backfield. Let them catch the ball. You don't necessarily have to hand it to them to make them be effective.
With the score, Winnipeg 29 and Calgary 1. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching the Canadian Football Network. It'll be second down, 15 yards to go. Bombers from the Calgary 30. Clements is under a rush and goes down. Vince Goldsmith is there to record that sack, and so Winnipeg must kick, and Trevor Kennard will have another chance at 3 points.
Goldsmith fights off the block to the outside. Lester Brown had come in from motion to close in with Willard Reeves to try to protect Clements in that pocket. Goldsmith was just able to split the 2 backs and get in on Clements.
This would be Kennard's longest of the day, 47 yards. He made one earlier from 46. Ball just got spotted in time, and it probably contributed to Kennard's missed field goal. It is a single point. much to the chagrin of many who think the rule should be changed. And the Bombers now have an even 30 points.
Look at some of the coaches that help out Mike Riley. Bruce Limmerman used to be a quarterback for the Edmonton Eskimos for a number of years. Gene Gaines. They've been very successful this year. They've worked well together.
A new name there, Fred Biletnikoff.
Kaharick believes he may be one of the best receiver coaches anywhere.
Good play by Roy Bennett to break up the pass intended for Larry Willis. Roy Bennett's had a great game.
Well, it seemed like the ball was stuck in there pretty well. I think Willis had to slow down just a touch. He's underneath, has to wait for the football. Just that being thrown down by Bennett, the ball pops up.
Rick Johnson throwing it, so obviously he's back in the game. Nothing too wrong with the right hand. A lot wrong with everything that is happening around it. That's a way to beat that blitz. Johnson tossing it off to Kirby Warren, and the third quarter comes to an end. 30-1 in favor of Winnipeg. Well, the Stampeders know how to build an even greater comeback than the one which won a game for them in Ottawa earlier this season. That's exactly what they need to win this game. They're down 29 points entering the fourth quarter. There was a 26-point deficit in that memorable game at Ottawa.
And some chatter going on. Some tempers being lost. Pressure coming a little bit late on Johnson. He was thrown down. He didn't like it a lot either.
Well, the chatter comes with a game involving Winnipeg. You know the Blue Bombers, especially those linebackers, are going to be talking. Stampeders obviously not liking it in this situation especially, and that was a rather aggressive hit on Johnson by Gray, wasn't it?
A well-placed forearm in between that area and the mask and the helmet.
Oh, Rick Johnson has his own way of making a point as he draws the Bombers offside. The Bombers hit back though at Johnson's unfortunate receiver.
Larry Willis took just one heck of a shot. He goes up for the football and really gets flipped. And the scary thing about this type of play is where they land. He landed right in the back of the neck.
And Larry Willis was injured on that play.
You don't think receivers have to have some guts coming across the middle. There's going to be some more action. He comes behind, tries to go up. Benny Thompson just comes underneath. A fair hit, but it just, he wasn't in a good position. He was exposed, and then he just comes down.
Ty Jones is still wondering why he missed Johnson. Larry Willis perhaps wishes that Jones had got to Johnson before the pass was thrown.
Larry Willis, the injured Calgary player.
An injured Blue Bomber defensive back is the man on crutches, Darrell Sampson. They figure he'll be out another 4 weeks or so. He was starting at the left defensive half for a while this season. Bombers secondary regroup with import Benny Thompson taking the place of Canadian Darrell Sampson. Good draw and a nice hold of Tim Petrus. Gray on the tackle, and now all of this nonsense begins to break out.
Well, it wasn't going to take long. Some things have been going on. I'm surprised it's taken Calgary this long to get this fired up after what happened to Johnson earlier on with West slamming him to the ground unnecessarily. You have to establish yourself. You don't have to be cheap about it, but this is a penalty that's going to go in Calgary's favor.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 14. First down.
Well, you wouldn't have guessed it would be Scott Flagel, would you?
Well, they've got a bunch of people on defense, the Bombers do it, that are aggressive and can be a little bit cocky at times, especially when they're up with a big lead.
From the 28-yard line, Ty Jones chasing Rick Johnson, who throws it and completes it. Catch is made by Willis. He took a hit out of bounds from Roy Bennett.
Good to see him back in the game. Runs a nice disciplined pattern to the outside. Again, Johnson's rolling to him. Willis makes a good, turns the defensive back around. Roy Bennett has to turn his back. When the back's turned, Willis makes the cut to the sidelines. Makes it a lot easier when you can move that defensive back, make him change his position.
17-yard line of Winnipeg. First down for Calgary. Everybody looked and tried to find that ball, and by the time they did, it was incomplete. Not a very good pass by Johnson.
Jefferson wishing he had swung around a little bit earlier. Would have been able to pick that ball off. Almost thrown into a gray area where there wasn't a receiver. Or where the receiver should have been and didn't go.
James Jefferson, described by his coach Mike Riley as a great athlete. Not yet a refined defensive back, but getting better all the time. He does have the tools to play that corner spot, though. Johnson sees no way out of this. Mike Gray takes him down and celebrates with Mark Seal.
Well, Michael Gray was going to have absolutely nothing to do with a couple of little shakes that Rick Johnson tried to put him on to get him out of his rush path. Really almost a free shot at the quarterback. Kerry Elarenko didn't get a good opportunity to step out in front of Gray. Johnson drops back and then drops down.
J.T. Hay missed earlier from 32 yards out. He tries from 37 this time. Nope, not good. Wide again. Single conceded by Flegel, and the Stampeders have 2 points now. Winnipeg 30. The Stampeders have managed nothing more than 2 J.T. Hay singles today. Bombers first down from their 35. Willard Reeves adds to his total with about 5 yards.
Larry Kaharick told us before the game his offensive line has to be aggressive. Have to be able to jump up in the face of the defensive lineman. He's just trying to straighten some things out. He says, during the break that you've got, you guys have got to get up. You're stepping back too early. You're giving them room to rush. They're just not being aggressive enough. Something that they were doing earlier on in the year, and they've fallen back into that same type of mold.
He wasn't pleased, to say the least. Clemens throws. Boyd reaches up, makes the catch, and his knee did touch while in the grass for the Calgary defender. It doesn't prevent the first down, however.
When things are going well for you, they go well. Tom Clemens has got a pattern that's a quick release. He has to almost duck under middle linebacker Bernie Morrison in the middle of your screen here to throw the ball. Just perfect timing. Boyd comes back in, makes a nice catch.
There's no evidence that Perry Tuttle's absence has affected the Winnipeg passing game one bit. Boyd and Murphy may have a little extra attention paid to them, but they've still had good games, and so has Nick Haraki, and Randy Fabi has caught a ball. Boyd with the good hands again, and some running after the catch. Nice moves. They don't get him yardage, but the Bombers are inside the Calgary 45.
Boy, it's pretty to watch a good receiver come across and just feather the ball when he puts his hands up. Jeff Boyd is not only a great receiver, but the way he catches a football, keeps it away from his body, and tucks it away, and it's pretty fancy afterwards. He said he didn't get any more yardage, but he didn't get hit as much either.
Tom Mickey with a chance to play in this game probably is warming up now. Flag down as Lester Brown runs the screen for the 3rd time today.
Holding, Winnipeg number 59.
When the Bombers run this first down play again, we'll have a look at number 73 from the University of Western Ontario, Randy Fabi.
He's done a good job coming into the game. Some big shoes to fill with Perry Tuttle, very popular and a very talented receiver. As we said earlier, he adds another dimension to their offense with his size. Good blocker. And again, the good blocking from the slot backs, Nick Araki and Randy Faby, allow Willard Reeves to get more yardage. As we look at Nick Bastaya discussing his situation with the trainers.
The sun continues to shine, and a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Future cheerleaders, perhaps.
Well, that ankle looks a little bit tender, explaining that he probably rolled over on it. Bastaya, who put about 15 pounds on this year, felt that they were going to continue to run the ball as much. He had to be bigger, and just take a look at his arms.
Randy Faby smiling. Perhaps somebody has sent in word that the cameras will watch his every move on this play. That will do, as the Blue Bombers are back at the Calgary 54-yard line. First down and 20 yards to go. 10 minutes to go in the game. We feel safe in saying in the game as opposed to in the fourth quarter. Clements gives to Reeves on the draw, and one of his blockers was Randy Faby.
So important to get inside a man, take away the inside where the play is coming from. You don't have to knock the man down, you screen. He swings his hips around, gets his arms out, does a good job, and really shields Willard Reeves away from the tackler. Boy, this hits quickly. Bob Molly comes out, and the linebacker Morrison gets in his face, gives Willard Reeves an opportunity to see what's going on upfield with people in front of the tacklers.
Didn't make the first down, but enhanced the possibility on second down with 5 yards to go. They throw it to Murphy. He's out of bounds with that first down made. Dave McCrary taking him out.
I have to say that the Winnipeg offense, and we've seen them on CFN a number of times this year, looks a little bit more diversified than we have seen them. Mike Riley said he wanted to become that way, put some new wrinkles in the offense, make it tougher on defenses to get a shot at his quarterback. And I think they've done a good job tonight of mixing it up, some dropbacks, sprint outs, and draws.
They'll need all of that next week against the top-rated defense in this league, the BC Lions. Clements to Murphy. The ball is tipped. He caught it anyway.
Heads up, I guess the dropsies are gone from the Winnipeg receivers, and they not only can catch the ball when it's thrown to them, but if it's in an area, they seem to be able to come down with it today. That's just good heads-up football.
Another chance for another score. Nick Bastaya getting taped, and he is on his way back as soon as possible, we are told. First and goal, Bombers. They give it to Reeves. He stumbles and falls and doesn't get very much on that play. If there's anything that you would criticize about Winnipeg's performance, it is perhaps the inability to get the ball in when they start first and goal.
Well, they might be trying some new things, different situations with Lester Brown in the offense. We have seen some new formations tonight. They can experiment. They can afford to right now. But a good football team will be consistent and persistent, defensively and offensively. Just keep going after them. Never let them up.
Reeves approaching 100 yards today. Clements approaching the end zone again. Fires. Murphy with a catch and a touchdown as the flag comes down. Unless he pushed off, that will stand. Stampeders certainly feel as though there was cause for throwing a flag on Murphy.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 79.
Well, it was against Winnipeg, but not against Murphy.
Well, you have to be subtle when you're down near the goal line. You're going to run a pattern underneath what might be considered a pick play. You just got to try to get in somebody's way, not try to keep the hands away. Just screen somebody.
The penalty was called on Nick Araki. Nick Bastaya is back in that offensive line, and the Blue Bombers are back at the 18-yard line. second down. They still must score a touchdown. Boyd on the run. Broken up on a nice defensive play by Hopkins.
That is a great defensive play. Jeff Boyd runs a post corner. He's going to try to push Hopkins inside on the first move. Leaning inside. Try to make him to move. A quick look to try to get Hopkins to jump up. Doesn't do it. Hopkins stays right on him. Good defense.
He knocked it away with one arm. What was the other one doing?
Balance.
The question is, did he get the left hand on the ball before the right hand hit Jeff Boyd's shoulder? The official said yes. Legal play. Trevor Kennedy thus kicks a field goal, and it's good. 33-2 is the extent of this rout. The Blue Bombers on their way to increasing their lead in the Eastern Division. It's bad enough as far as Calgary's concerned, but it could have been worse. The Blue Bombers haven't taken advantage of some scoring opportunities in the third and fourth quarters. Following this game, we'll be selecting the Canada Lease MVP. Canada Lease, a public company providing leadership in the world of high technology and capital equipment leasing. Canada Lease makes your money work better for you.
Look at Bruce Limmerman, the offensive coordinator, talking to his two wide receivers, Murphy and Boyd, and congratulating them. They've had a good day.
First down, Stampeders at their 40-yard line. It is Johnson, quarterback, airing it out. Incomplete. Nothing much to lose at this point in the game by throwing it as far as you can.
Well, Roy Bennett's playing so deep, he's not even giving the receiver a chance to get behind him. Every time he takes a step, he'll take another one and backpedal. So Johnson might have better luck going underneath if they're going to drop that deep and try to get an exciting play out of a reception. Let him run it into the end zone.
That's the
pretty comfy.
Extent of Tom Clement's success today, and he's probably through for the day. Tom Mickey, the rookie, was warming up earlier. We expect to see him. A 400-yard game for Tom Clements. Johnson hits his receiver, and Tolbert hangs on.
Scott Schlegel just playing center field, allowing Tolbert to come underneath. Makes good contact with Tolbert. He's able to cradle the ball, but here's some good protection. Even though they're running stunts up front, Johnson has a great lane with even Rob Smith with no one to block.
From the Winnipeg 50-yard line, less than 6 minutes to go. Petros took the handoff. He's dragged down right about the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard as some pushing continues. Mark Seal involved on Winnipeg's side of the ball. Stampeders no huddles here.
Well, the play will be called at the line of scrimmage.
Mickey looking forward to his chance to play. Johnson throws, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Tony Pearson. Proving once again that those draft picks, even if they're not in the first round, can be valuable. There were days, probably when you were graduating, that a 6th round draft choice wouldn't have had a second look, and now teams are finding players in those rounds.
Yes, and they've got some things they like in Tony Pearson from the University of Alberta. Good speed, quickness, and Kaharick knows he's just going to get better if he gets an opportunity to play.
Third down, and the Stampeders will go. No sense punting, trailing by 31 points. Stampeders appeared to be offside. That man right there, Larry Willis, who winds up with the football, left early.
Well, you've got to make up for it in some way. Offside right in front of his bench. That's just, I know he feels he needs a head start, but he's got to hang in there till that ball snaps.
Offside. Calgary, number 89.
Calgary offside.
That's the hand in the cookie jar right there.
Well, he's anxious to make something happen. He wants to produce a big play. I don't know if there's any excuse for coming offside like that, but I understand his anxiety. It's been a tough day for a man who had just an outstanding game last week against Edmonton.
Top offensive player in the CFL last week for 7 catches, 140 yards. Ty Jones moving in was blocked well as Willis tries to get to it. James Jefferson knocks it down and almost intercepts. Tom Mickey's in the game at quarterback. A former Baylor Bear takes over from Tom Clements with a ball at the Winnipeg 54-yard line. Rather an unorthodox passing motion by Tom Mickey, but the ball gets to James Murphy, and Mickey is 1 for 1, and Murphy adds to his good day, and the Bombers are over 500 yards net offense today.
It almost looks awkward. He's got the ball very low, and then he just brings it up over the ear and releases it. When you think about it, where he has to bring it from down below and up over top, it's a quick release.
Bombers may be on their way to the best offensive day by any CFL team this season. Mickey, a nice crisp pass to Randy Faby. 525 yards, the most by any team. Edmonton Eskimos did it, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers may be going past that today.
He looks sharp. Mickey gets an opportunity. A lot of people would say, why not keep it on the ground? But now this is his chance to get in the game, increase his statistics, and help out some of those young receivers. Might as well practice while we're out here.
Mickey hands the ball to Lester Brown, the first time he has run with it today from scrimmage, and he gets to the 25-yard line.
Lester Brown's had an interesting career in the CFL. It seems all he does is produce in the teams he goes to, Ottawa, Toronto, Regina, but never seems to stay in one place very long, because Mike Riley's very impressed with the man. He's had 8 years in the CFL and been very successful. Just hasn't hung around very long in one spot.
He may be an example of too much movement by players. You're right, he plays well everywhere he goes. He shouldn't be moving so much. Going far on this play, Lester Brown. The Bombers already, though, have passed that 525-yard mark. So right now, this stands as the best offensive display in the league this season. Third down, and the Blue Bombers will go for it under the direction of rookie Tom Mickey. And it looks as though they have the first down. Mickey can stay in there and play some more.
No, that's not Lanny McDonald. Neither is that.
Lanny McDonald is busy at the Flames training camp now. All the hockey players getting set for the oh-so-long season. It is the first down, Winnipeg. Tom Mickey looking to put some more points on the board over the middle. Murphy taken down heavily after the pass eluded him. Mickey trying to remain enthusiastic about the chance to play and the chance to score, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to go 4 points ahead of the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the East. Hamilton will have 1 game in hand. On the roll, throws a nice hard pass. Clements can't do it any better than that.
Mickey really gets outside quickly. He shows that not only he can throw a ball on a strike, but he's got great feet. Watch him go. He sees something happen here. He just explodes, gets out of the way, gets himself in good position to throw the football to Murphy. For a guy who hasn't played very much, he certainly has the tools, and he shows he's got the cool to get in the football game.
First and goal from the 5-yard line. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading by 31, and it could easily be 40 or more. Touchdown pass that time. Tom Mickey chalks one up and hits Ken Winey.
Ken Winey getting better every week, according to Mike Riley. He's a much more disciplined receiver, runs good route. A quick look to the right. He's going to throw it low because he knows Winey's going to upfield on Hopkins, then just come back.
A lot of people have wondered about what would happen to Winnipeg if Clements were injured. This doesn't prove Tom Mickey can come in and do the job from the start of a game or in a close game, but in this situation he exhibits some skills, and obviously the Bombers have seen those in practice. Now you get an idea of why Tom Mickey's on this team and what he could do if he had to.
Well, he's had the opportunity to watch one of the best in Tom Clements, and if he's a student, as most quarterbacks are, when they have an opportunity during a football game to watch, they learn an awful lot. And I think he's been watching very closely because he's done a good job of, even though against the Calgary defense it's been beaten on most of this afternoon, he still has to be able to get out of tight situations and throw the football, and he's done that.
Well, I said it could have been 40 or more points for the Bombers, and now it is. They have 40. The Stampeders have 2, and the Bombers have more total yards on offense than any team in the CFL this season. And by finishing a few more of those drives, they'd probably have the most points by any team this season. 54 is the most points, and the Eskimos did that as well. That was against Calgary, first game of the season. Winnipeg has 40, and that's plenty to win this game. Kirby Warren on the return. He's up close to midfield. Stampeders will regroup and will go home to play Ottawa next Friday, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers get their chance to go back to BC Place Stadium and reverse that great game that they lost in Louis Passaglia's last-minute single. And both of those games are on the Canadian Football Network, Friday from Calgary and Sunday from Vancouver.
Well, it's been a humbling experience for the Stampeders after coming off of 3 big wins, playing well. They've come into a park where not a lot of teams leave on the winning side.
Petros and Ty Jones meet heavily.
Well, no one's holding back. The Stamps are still going after them, and there's certainly a lot of helmet popping going on out there, as you could hear Ty Jones with the tackle.
It's been a complete game by the Winnipeg defense. They have obviously played well to hold Calgary to 2 singles, but no one player has really stood out. Roy Bennett perhaps with his 2 interceptions. The linebackers always play well as a group, and we've mentioned each of them several times today. Petros again runs to the 45-yard line. Offensively, it adds up to a great day for Clements.
Well, it certainly sets the stage for next week after watching the Lions just work like a machine against the Ottawa Rough Riders, especially in the second half of their football game. It's time to cool down.
Congratulations, buddy.
Dick, how's that feel?
Sweep to Gary Allen, and he has room on the right side.
Hi, Suzanne. I'll see you in 5 hours.
And here's the replay of the day.
Another hit by West.
Those cubes must hurt.
And I'll tell you, it's cold too.
Obviously happy to be playing this season. Nick Araki. Injury is over, and he survived the collapse of the Montreal Alouettes. The last time Winnipeg played at BC, I think we were hesitant to talk about a possible Grey Cup preview because there was no real evidence that the Bombers and the Lions were the 2 best teams in the country. Now I think perhaps we can say that, although we wouldn't want to forget Edmonton or Hamilton. Winnipeg is clearly #1 in the East. The Lions by percentage are #1 in the West, and they will meet 1 week from today. And maybe again late in November at that same BC Place Stadium.
Well, as I was saying earlier, we've certainly seen an awful lot of excitement on both football teams, Winnipeg and BC, and that does nothing but just build the excitement for the next time these two meet next weekend, because if they both perform as they did this weekend, it should be a whalable football game.
Yeah, this week we have seen a graphic illustration of where the power lies in the CFL, with BC's win at Ottawa, Edmonton's win over the Argos last night, and this destruction of Calgary by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Calgary will try for 3 points. JT Hay hasn't been successful earlier in the game. This is a 40-yard attempt. And what do you know? It is 3 points for Calgary, and JT Hay making the score with only 5 seconds left, 40-5.
Well, it'll be time to regroup for Larry Kaharick. He understands that it wasn't going to be this easy, and he was on a bit of a string, having beaten BC, Ottawa, and of course last week Edmonton, and he knows it was going to be tough. There were going to be some ups and downs, but responding from this will be important.
Well, he looks good with his answer to my question, are you now one of the best teams in this league if you can beat BC and Edmonton? He said, we better wait and see what we do against Winnipeg. And there'll be nobody asking him that after this game.
Well, he keeps things in perspective. I think he understands it, but I think he knows that he has a good nucleus here. They've made some changes. They had that 2-week break where they did nothing but work on fundamentals to become a better football team, because in the next few weeks they don't have a lot of time to prepare or to do anything but prepare for the team they're going to play.
Well, they are third in the West. They have a 3-point lead over Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has a game in hand. It's clear that Calgary shouldn't be thinking about going any higher than third. First in the East, very definitely Winnipeg.